Hello, everyone. It is Peggy McCall, and we are about 45 seconds away from the top of the hour. I just want to check on my two screens here. I've got one screen where I'm going to be presenting from, and I have another screen right over here where I am going to see the webinar as it pops up. And so I can make sure that everything is working great. So far on the webinar beside me, I'm seeing a blank screen. So I think it's about 20 seconds behind. That's usually the way it works when you're doing an event such as this on our YouTube live channel. Oh, it says click to join in session. There we go. Okay, great. So we are good to go, and I want to welcome you. We're just a few seconds away from the top of the hour. There we go. I'm going to switch over to share my screen with you so that you can see my screen and you can see what I'm looking at as well. So there we go. You should be seeing my screen right now. I also want to welcome everyone that's on the call right now. We've got people that are connecting here from all over the world. And here's what I'd like you to do right now. I would like you to ensure that the next couple of hours, and it may take a couple hours to get through this because I have a lot of information to go over with you. What I suggest that you do is sit back, get a pen, get some paper, get ready, shut off all technology, and be really ready. I want to show you how you can profit on becoming an author, and not just any author, but a best-selling author, and perhaps a New York Times best-selling author, and how you can actually make money, like earn a living, make a difference, live that dream life, like the author dream. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. I'm going to show you how anyone can do this. And also, I want to just really help you get into the excitement and recognize what this opportunity is right here, right now with this internet for you to create multiple streams of income, how you can do this from the comfort of your home, and how a book can actually help you do just that, as I've done to earn well over $1 million every year, consistently generating millions of dollars in profitable revenue, and clients of mine that have generated 6, 7, 8 figures in revenue. Now, not everyone is going to get the results that I'm going to be talking about. I'll give you some examples. I'll show you what some of my clients have done. I'll show you what some other authors have done. However, here's what I want you to really know. This is possible. It's certainly possible for you. So if you're feeling an inkling, if you're feeling like there's something about this that just feels like, I'm drawn to it. Doesn't matter where you live. Now, I noticed online before we started, we had people from South Africa. We have people from Asia. We have people from Europe. We have people from Canada, where I live. We've got people from the United States that are on this call. So it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter whether you've already written your book and you haven't written your book, and or where you're at, because this is not difficult. It is not. And I'm going to explain to you and hope that you really understand just how easy this can be when you know how. That's important. That's really the key and the secret to this. Now, I was blessed to work with a lovely woman by the name of Susanna, who lives in Melbourne, Australia. I met her at an event, and she said to me, I want to write my book in 7 days. I said, great. And she said, can you help me with that? And I said, absolutely. Now, I work with her in a private mentoring capacity. But she said, without your support, dedication, professionalism, and guidance, I know that I wouldn't have been able to accomplish my dream of writing a book. You were the key for me to make this a reality. I have loved every minute of it the past week working with you. You're very personable, professional, and honest, and you helped me along to get to the end of my vision of having my book completed. And that's what I want you to really understand here is, yes, Susanna accomplished that in a very short period of time. It doesn't have to take years to write your book. It doesn't have to take months to write your book. When you make a decision, a committed decision, when you decide, I'm doing this, I'm getting my book done. And I know some of you have your books done as well already, and that's fine. I'm going to talk about those that have already completed their books as well. But when you make a committed decision to get your book done, bring your book to the world, make it a bestseller, and perhaps, and I really want you to get your head around this, you decide you're going to create a business out of this, producing profitable revenue, that it's absolutely possible for you. Now, I personally rank #2 in the world. We're not talking about #2 in a category or #2 somewhere else, but #2 in the world, right behind Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter is a series of books that I'm certain you're familiar with. They've been around for a long time. Matter of fact, this author, J.K. Rowling, is in the Guinness Book of World Records to be the first billionaire author. The first. Now think back to way back when, more than 50 years ago, when people thought that you couldn't run a mile in under 4 minutes. But Roger Bannister proved them wrong. He ran a mile in under 4 minutes. And then next thing you know, someone else was running a mile under 4 minutes. Somebody else was running a mile. So what happens is, and why I mention that is that when we look at others that have blazed the trail before us, become billionaire authors, multi-millionaire authors doing work that they deeply love, this has already been done. And there's no better time in history than right now for you to make that happen for you. It's absolutely possible. And I know because I've done it myself. I've accomplished that. Now, whatever you're writing, whether you're thinking of writing children's books, cooking books, business books, a book that's unique, there's an author by the name of Carol Abramson. It has been known that she actually created a book. She printed 200 copies, gave them away. And as a result of printing 200 copies, she actually declared that she earned $2 million in consulting fees by giving away her book. Now, you're going to hear about others who have used a book, and I've done this myself, to give away a book that has helped generate business. Now, that's not for everyone. It usually works for people that are either trainers, teachers, they're looking at creating courses, offering services, coaching, perhaps just getting into coaching, but it's absolutely a phenomenal way that you can do that. And Carol Abramson's book was a very unique book. It was a book for investors. And the subtitle was "The Investor Relations Audience is Every CEO and CFO who's serious about attracting Wall Street interest must understand." But what I want you to understand with what Carol Abramson did was, she didn't write a book to get it out there and make it a New York Times bestseller or to have it be a big hit in the world. She wrote this book so that she could give it away. So it cost her time, cost her some money, not a lot of money, but probably cost her a little bit of money. Printed this book and it returned $2 million. Now, I don't know about you, but I'll tell you right now, if you took a short amount of money and you went down to your local bank and said, "Hey, I'd like you to turn this into $2 million, they'd probably look at you like you have two heads. I mean, it's just something that's not going on. That's why I just can't even express how excited I am that you're here and that you're open to this idea. And I'll tell you something else. Be really open to this. Stay on this call. Stay on it right till the end, because I'm going to consistently share with you accomplishments that I've achieved, my clients have achieved, others have achieved, that have created extraordinary results. And as we know, this isn't typical. This isn't something that every single author is doing, but the opportunity is there when you know how. $2 million from giving away a couple hundred books. Now, so what could a book do for you? And as I said, I know some of you have already started to write your books. Some of you have already written your books. Some of you are thinking about your books. I noticed some of the comments that were on the chat roll just before we began about people that are looking for ideas for completing their books, or looking for ideas about what to even write about. But what a book can do for you, never mind the impact that you can have in the world, it can have you earning more money, creating wonderful credibility, position yourself as an expert or a celebrity in this world, help you educate the world, entertain an audience, and be the starting point for a big, big, big business. I remember back in the 90s going to see a seminar, and it was a seminar I had to travel, halfway across the world to attend. And I remember the gentleman that was standing in front of the room, and he had said to the people in the room, there were 1,100 people in the audience from 70 countries in the world. And he had said to the people in the room, "If I can do this, so can you." And I remember at the time hearing those words, and it's almost like it stopped me in my tracks, because I've heard those words before from others. And I heard it in that moment, but I heard it very, very differently in that moment. It was something that really sparked inside me, that made me realize that the only one that's standing in our way from experiencing extreme success, phenomenal success, from really living our dreams, is the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. That's who's in your way. Now, you guys are all here. You're here. You joined this call. We got people, as I said, from all over the world. So you're looking for something. There's something that drew you here. Maybe it was in the invitation. Maybe it was in the email. Maybe it was when you came to the opt-in page and you saw something there, but there was something there. Now, I personally, from experience, can share with you that when I decided to become an author, and more importantly, I took action to become an author, it completely and utterly changed my life for the better in every way, in every way. But I want to share something with you. And this is something that may or may not be a secret to you, but I absolutely do not consider myself to be a great writer. And neither do you need to be a great writer. It's not important. It's not necessary. And I think that should be really good news for a lot of people. You don't even have to speak English really well. You could speak English, and I suppose you do, or you wouldn't be listening to me right now. I also don't really like writing. I don't even particularly enjoy reading. I'm more of an auditory learner. I love learning, and I do invest a considerable amount of time every day learning and expanding my own knowledge. But I'm not a big fan of reading. And I'm certainly not a fan of writing, and I'm not technical, and not much more than I was 20 years ago when I got started. But in spite or despite all of these weaknesses, I have written and published 13 books that are in 37 languages and sold in almost 100 countries in the world. And I'm not saying that to brag or impress you. I'm really just saying that to let you know that, wow, if I can do this, anybody can do this. And there's multiple ways. I say written 13 books. I actually haven't written all of these books, and I'll explain that a little bit more as we go along. But these are just some of the books that I've written. Now, I wrote and sold my books online from the comfort of my home. You see, I started this whole process when I was a single mom, and I was responsible for taking care of my son. I had a home. My son was in private school. I had expenses. I had to feed my family, my son and I. And so I decided that I would become an author, but not just any author, a successful author, and do it from the comfort of my home. So I'm not one of those vacant moms who's simply not there to take care of her child. I decided I was going to do this and do it with the internet. You see, we're reaching people anywhere. You guys are on this call. We're here. We're watching me on the web, or you're watching the presentation on the web. And you're somewhere else in the world, and I'm sitting here in my home, in my office in Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada. And when I first started marketing my books online, I was absolutely amazed and excited that people from 26 countries, the very, very first time I launched using my formula for marketing a book, I had people from 26 countries buying my book online, and that was exhilarating. Here I was, this single mom, this small town just outside of Ottawa, Ontario, and bringing my message to the world. So what happened was, when I started doing this and getting success and selling my books, people started noticing. Well, they noticed because I was getting a lot of visibility out there online. So then other authors who had perhaps written their book or published their book, or maybe had gone through a publisher, started to realize they're not getting the traction. They're not getting the results that they want, and they wanted help. They wanted me to show them. They wanted me to take them by the hand. So I did just that. Pizé Ling is one of my wonderful clients I was blessed to serve. Now, Pizé says, when I look back, I had no idea how to start other than I had the desire to write. She said, I tried it on my own. I couldn't even write past 5 pages. But because I guided her and because she followed through, she not only completed her book, she brought it out to the world and made it an international bestseller. And now Pizé Ling can call herself an international best-selling author. Now, Pizé speaks English, but it's not her first language. She's originally from Cambodia. She lives in New Zealand, but originally from Cambodia. Lovely woman, wonderful book, great message. She went through extraordinary situation or circumstances to create a message that she felt really important to the world, that she brought out to the world, and she accomplished what she set out to do. Now, sometimes people think, oh, I'm too young, I'm too old. There was a question actually asked online a little earlier in the chat roll. One lady was saying that her son, who's 7 years of age, is considering writing a book. Well, I have a client that's 5 years of age that wrote a book, and he wrote a book called The Day I Met Bob. And it was how he set a goal. This lovely young man, his name is Destin. Destin set a goal that he wanted to meet Bob Proctor. and he accomplished just that. It is a delightful book. Another book that I recommend. But how did they accomplish that? How did they get that book done? How did they bring it out to the world? Well, they invested in themselves, and he and his father, and I helped them bring that book out to the world. Now, I love that book, but why am I sharing that particular example? Because here's Destin, a young 5-year-old who's sharing a story that's uplifting, that's inspiring. Now, can you imagine how this is going to impact Destin's self-confidence and how important that is for him as he grows up? What an accomplishment that he has created. So yes, your 7-year-old could write a book. Your 5-year-old could write a book. Your 11-year-old could write a book. Jason Fladlin, who is a wonderful, extraordinary man who I was blessed to work with, he decided he wanted to get a book done, but he was just not doing it. He wasn't working on it. He said, I wanted to write a book for 7 years. He said, you got me going. And he got the book done in 3 weeks. And he told me that. This was a text that he sent to me. I copied and pasted this right from my phone. He says, I've already gotten business from the book. He says, I'll probably end up with a 6-figure contract from the book before even the typos are fixed. There's amazing things, magical things that can happen when you make a decision to release your book. Here's another one of my wonderful clients that I was blessed to serve, Mick Peterson. He dreamed this story. It's a fiction story. He dreamed it all up. It came precisely from his imagination. He wrote a book called Stella and the Timekeepers. Took my program, learned how to self-publish, brought his book to the world, marketed his book, which is the most important part of an author's responsibility. And as a result, he signed a contract with Phil Goldfine, and that book is being made into a movie, and he's doing a trilogy. And their objective is to have the Stella and the Timekeepers as a franchise that becomes even greater than Harry Potter. Now, as you're watching this, I want you to really be thinking about what's possible for you. I want you to really be thinking about what's your author dream. What is it that you would love? Do you already know? Maybe you want to just keep watching and look at some of these examples of people that, poof, came right out of nowhere and started to create extraordinary things, but really connect. Get into your heart, get into your soul, get into your spirit. What would I love? What would I love? Because anything is possible. Elle Newmark is another wonderful client, fiction author, wrote a book, couldn't find a publisher, tried to get an agent, finally got an agent. That agent couldn't get a publisher, frustrated. And I hear this all the time with authors. They talk about the frustration, but you've got to stay focused on your goal. You never know when it's going to happen, but you've got to stay focused on the goal, and you must continually take action. You've got to find the models. You've got to find the systems that work, and you've got to implement them. You've got to follow them. Now, Elle Newmark could barely put an email together. Definitely technically challenged when I met her, but she knew that she had some work to do, and she knew that she had an objective and a goal that she was setting for herself. So what did she do? She learned, she applied, and she got a 7-figure deal. Now, after all that happened, I started working with all these people, helping them, guiding them, helping them bring their messages and following their love and celebrating their success. Like, I have worked with authors in every single genre. Fiction, nonfiction. Now, mostly I've worked with nonfiction authors, but I've definitely worked with a wide range of fiction authors too. Now, why mostly nonfiction? Because nonfiction authors are usually they have an understanding that they need to be the ones that are out there marketing their work. Like, there's a belief system that's in the publishing world, the book publishing world, that people think that if I get a publisher, they're going to publish my work. They're going to bring my work out to the world. That is not the way it works. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you've got the biggest publisher in the world, the publishers are still expecting the author to do the marketing. Therefore, a publisher's not even interested in you unless you already know that. So these successful authors, Neale Donald Walsch, Marianne Williamson, Robin Sharma, Gay Hendricks, Wayne Dyer, Debbie Ford, Richard Carlson, Gregg Braden, Marcy Shima, and Hay House. Hay House hired me. All of these authors became my clients. Why? Because even though they had already had success, with their authors. Some of these authors had been on the Oprah show. Some of them had already been on the New York Times list. Some of them had runaway successes, multiple New York Times bestsellers. But they also recognized that unless they were marketing their books effectively, they came out with a new book, they needed to implement strategies. And as you know, I mean, everyone that's on here recognizes that the world is changing at a rapid rate. Things are not staying stagnant. They're constantly changing. Now, that can be overwhelming for some. It can be exciting for others. I find it completely exciting that we've got this opportunity. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about what that opportunity is as well. Now, that opened almost like a floodgate of people coming to me saying, help me, help me, help me, help me with my goal to become a New York Times bestseller. And now I've worked with literally thousands of authors. Another author that I was blessed to work with is a gentleman who's already earned multiple millions of dollars. And his area of expertise is internet marketing. But he wanted to write a book, but didn't know where to begin. And I helped him. He came to me for help. So I helped him. I guided him, inspired him, mentored him, and he brought his book, The Circle of Profit, to the marketplace. And when he released it, he did it in a very unique way, following a proven formula for marketing online. And he generated just under $12 million within a 2-week period when he launched his book. Now, that's a completely unusual situation, you know, as many of the ones are that I'm sharing with you. But what's exciting about that is it's possible. And it's people like you, like me, that are doing it. And they're not just doing it once in a while. Some of these authors are doing it every single day. So let's look at the probable, almost certain facts. You're ready to multiply your income and your impact, and think writing might be the best way to do that, but you don't know how. Now, maybe you already have your book out. So you're thinking, okay, my book's already written and I want to multiply my income, multiply my impact, don't know how. Or you might be like me, a little bit technologically challenged and need some easy, non-techie solutions. Or perhaps you've been feeling unsure whether you actually have what it takes to succeed, or your time and schedule is limited and you want to get this done quickly, or you want a complete plan, the entire A to Z or A to Z of building a wildly successful business and following. Now, that could be, does that sound like you? If so, what I'd like to know is type the word me in the chat box. Remember earlier I was talking about how the only one that's standing in your way is the person that's staring you back in the mirror? Well, that was me. I was absolutely in my own way. And to be really honest with you, we're all in our own way to some degree. Now, that's not a criticism. It simply is a fact. And we can look at that and we can understand that and we can know that and just honor it, right? Just recognize it is what it is. Now, I'm looking at the chat roll here and I'm seeing it's almost like a ticker tape that's going by and everyone's saying me, me, me. I get it. I totally understand. I can relate to that, but I can also help you with that. Now, maybe there's some other probabilities. Maybe you're feeling a little bit skeptical that this would work for you specifically. Or you don't really want to become a best-selling author just for the hype. You want to earn the title. You want to feel really good about it. You want to feel proud of it. Or maybe you're someone, and I know there's some people that are on the call right now that have this desire because I know some of you really well. Some of you I've worked with before. But there are some that are out there that want to earn a 6, 7, or 8-figure income. I've got some clients I'm working with that are looking to earn 9 figures, 10 figures from a high place of integrity, and you simply don't want to sell out. Now, the reality of matters is that it can work for you. And you can start with an easy goal, such as earning the title of an Amazon best-selling author, which is a wonderful accomplishment. Or you can start with the mother of all goals, which I would highly recommend. I mean, if you're going to go for it big, of becoming a New York Times bestselling author. That's what I would suggest. So Amazon.com bestseller, it means you don't have to sell a lot of books. Even as few as a couple dozen books can actually accomplish this. And you can do this relatively quickly. You can do it in probably less than a week when you know how. But you're looking to establish yourself as an expert in your market quickly and easily in as little as 60 days following what I teach, or you're looking to accomplish the New York Times bestseller. And that's where you usually are required to sell anywhere from 9,000 plus books up in a period of 1 week. And you invest the time and the energy. And I teach this, of course. You teach this to accomplish it in a relatively short period of time. Now, my recommendation is to plan for it. And I go through all the steps of this within a 6 to 12 month period of time. And then you establish yourself as a big time worldwide expert celebrity relatively pretty quickly. Like, you own that. When you achieve New York Times bestselling author, it's something you own forever. It's like if you won a medal in the Olympics, you're always going to be an Olympic winner, right? Olympian. If you win or achieve the accomplishment of an Academy Award, you'll always be an Oscar winner, right? You earn an Emmy. It's something that you own forever. Same thing with the New York Times bestseller. The choice is absolutely yours. So what I'd like to ask you, which one of those two would you love? Are you looking to become an Amazon bestseller or a New York Times bestseller, or maybe even both? Actually, both is a good option as well. So which one? Type it in the chat box. Let me know. What are you going for? New York Times, I see there. All right, great. And as I said, we got some smiley faces. New York Times bestseller, says Victoria. Wonderful. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Victoria. Sophie's on both. All right, great, great. Okay, now they're flashing in front of my screen, going by quickly, quickly, quickly. Okay, great. I love it. And you can actually accomplish both of them at the same time. At the same time. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. So I love it. The New York Times, let's go, says Brenda. Woohoo. All right, Nick, top in my field. I see that. Okay, well, you can level up. You can absolutely level up. You simply decide. You know how we're talking earlier about a decision? You know, recently I was in Toronto and I was attending the filming of a brand new movie that's being done. It's called 13 Principles. And it's based on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, but it stars Bob Proctor. And the only two people that were there to watch this was Gina Hayden, who's been with Bob for 30 some odd years now, and me. And the crew, the camera crew, the whole film production crew was there. We're in Toronto filming this. And Bob was teaching the 13 principles based on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. One of the keys to success, and out of all the people that Napoleon Hill studied, and he wrote about it in Think and Grow Rich, one of the reasons why people succeed is because they make decisions quickly. They make decisions quickly. So that's step one. Pretty easy step, right? And then you write. You write your book. You publish your book. You can self-publish your book. You make it an Amazon.com bestseller. And at the same time, you can make your book a New York Times bestseller. But with every step, you're going to be increasing your income. You're going to be increasing your confidence. You're going to be increasing your knowledge, your credibility, your status, and the impact on the world. Now, I want you to really, really, really get this. When you accomplish this for you in your life, it will change your life in so many wonderful ways. I mean, we've got words on a screen. We're talking about income. We're talking about confidence. We're talking about knowledge, credibility, status, impact on the world. I want you to get emotionally involved in that. I want you to really, really feel what it would feel like for you to have your income where you desire it to be, where you feel really confident with who you are and what you're doing in this world. Your knowledge is expanded in a way that's just blowing your own mind and helping other people. You've got that credibility factor. You've got the status of being that bestseller in the world. And you've got people that are stopping you in the streets to share with you just how much of a difference, a positive difference you're making in your life. Just get emotionally involved in that for a moment. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're looking to make money and making a difference online without a book, or being acknowledged as a best-selling author, or having an email list or social media following, or providing value and a tried and true proven system, if you don't have that, it's infinitely harder to do. Infinitely harder to do. Now, those things that we're looking at here may seem like mountains. They may seem like, oh my goodness, how the heck would I ever do that? Well, it's a heck of a lot easier when you know how, when you're guided. Now, the opportunity for this online space, this gold rush of money making, money earning opportunity just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. Now, I've been watching the stats for the internet users since back in the 90s. And if we look back even 24 years when the World Wide Web really started, those numbers have only done one thing: increase, increase. And look where we're at now. Look at what we're looking at here with the potential and the possibility for where we're going with the world, right? And what I love about it is you can be sitting in your home and doing this. You could even continue to do what you're doing in your job or in your work and be doing this as well. You could do it part-time if you want. But we're looking at 4 billion internet users by the year 2020. There's only 7 billion people on the planet. That's extraordinary. And right now, we're over 3 billion people that are online. And it wasn't that long ago, we're only at 2 billion. So by 2020, we're over 4 billion people. Whew, that's extraordinary. Now, just imagine, just for a moment, you can get out your calculator if you want, and imagine a small percentage of that, of those people that are online, bought your book. Imagine what that would be like. Now, the opportunity just continues to grow as we see. And we've got people that are not only online, that are internet users, that are surfing the web, that have presence, etc. We've got a lot of active social media users, over 3 billion. And interestingly enough, we have unique mobile users, over 5 billion. And of course, there's people that have more than one mobile device online. And we have social users that are now just under 3 billion. So I want you to see there are billions of people that are hungry for your knowledge, your perspective, your personality, your way of thinking, the ability to help them with facts, figures, inspiration, or stories. Anything that you want to share, they want it. This is a $1 billion industry, or actually it's a $1 trillion industry, now a $1 trillion industry. And one of the top things that are selling online today is information. That's what your book is, information. Oh my God, I can hardly sit in my seat while I'm doing this. Now, here's what you need to realize. You really got to understand this, okay? This opportunity is gigantic. You're getting this, right? Like, I think do you understand how big this is? This is so enormous. The market opportunity is huge, and it's easy. It's easy to reach people. Technology has become so much easier. It's like when my husband gets a new device and he's not really technically, I guess, blessed either. But he'll just go online. Like if he wants to see how to install a new thermostat, just go on YouTube, right? It's so easy to find stuff, but it is possible to write, self-publish, publish, market, and sell your book all online from the comfort of your home, and you can do it in as little as 60 days. And I know that because I've done it, and I've helped many people do it as well. And of course, I'm here to help you. I want to help you with all of that. That picture was taken at one of my private group sessions that I was doing in my home. Kind of a cute little picture, but I thought that it worked really well for that. But I think it's really important you understand this. I am not about get rich quick. There's no such thing as a get rich quick. So if anyone's told you that you can get rich quick, well, they might not be telling you the precise truth in all of that. But the opportunity is there, and it's there for you right here, right now. Now, finishing your book and making it a bestseller within 60 days probably won't make you rich right away. It may have you producing some income and making some money, but there are ways that you could do this that could have you making a heck of a lot of money. And of course, it is certainly a really good start. So consider this. Most people find themselves financially destitute by the time they reach retirement age, which is around 65 years of age. Creating financial freedom is hard when you don't have a proven system to follow that's worked for a lot of people. And a lot of people, they're sitting there in the world and they're just floundering. They're looking for that opportunities. It's almost like they're chasing it, right? They're going here, they're going there, and they're spinning their wheels and they're getting nowhere and they're going in circles. But I'll tell you, helping a lot of people in the world is next to impossible when you don't have a lot of money. So money helps you do, as my friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, says, two things. It helps you make your life more comfortable, and it helps you expand your reach, and your ability to help people beyond your physical presence and your personal time. So it's not that this has to take you all over the world, although it can if you want that, but it certainly doesn't. I'm really talking about making an impact from the comfort of your home where other people are in their home. Now, yes, you can travel as well, and it doesn't have to take a lot of personal time either. Now, there are obstacles that get in the way. One of them is money. Now, I found that by learning what I've learned and by applying what I've learned, I have created multiple sources of income. If you're looking at a screen right now, you're seeing a little ticker, and this is just one of my shopping carts. I've got a number of sources of income, as I've mentioned. This is just one of my shopping carts that's been producing month after month after month, revenue after revenue after revenue. Now, that's a photo of me and my young son, Michel, as a single mom. But this is how I really got things going. And this is how I really built my business. But more importantly, it's how I get to live my passion. Now, if that's something you want to do, if you're looking to really do meaningful work, you want to live your passion, you want to do something that just juices you, it gets you excited. You know, it's like you go to bed at night and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited about tomorrow that you're not even thinking about sleep and you don't even want to sleep. It's like, I don't even want to sleep. I want to get back at it and I want to do work that I love. That is a wonderful way to live. Now, I had a client that I worked with by the name of Jennifer Colford, and she wanted to write her book in a week, just like Susanna. And she reached out to me. I worked with her. She got her book done in a week, but she also made it a bestseller in less than 60 days. She made her book an international bestseller. Susanna wrote her book and got it done in a week. I met her in Toronto at a training session. I was speaking there. She came up to me afterwards and she said, I'm going back to Melbourne, Australia 1 week from today, and I want my book done. Can you help me? It's like, absolutely, I can help you. But the ability is within everyone. It's not just in Jennifer or Carol or Mick or Peggy. It's within everyone, that ability to do that. And even if you don't speak English, so if confusion is there, like Pise was having, she was like, I didn't even know what to do. I tried to write my book and I couldn't even write past 5 pages. But she got the right guidance so that she could get her book done and bring it out to the world. And of course, fear is another one. I have a lot of people that share with me that they're quite concerned about what people will think when they bring their work out in the world, or being judged by others. But you know something? You got to get connected to the bigger purpose. What is it that you really want? What is it that you'd really love? And you've got to feel the confidence and have the strength to go for it anyway. Feel the fear and go for it anyway. That was a book that was written back in the 80s that made a big impact. Now let's look at the process. Now the process is a heck of a lot simpler than you think. Now let's look at the steps here. Decide. That's where it starts. It starts with deciding. Then we move to getting the book written. I'm going to share with you some ideas on that right here, right now. Then you publish that book and then you launch the book. So who? Well, my name's Peggy McCullough and I've been a lot of things. And I'm a mother and a grandmother. Now on the left-hand side of the page, it's a picture of me with my young son, Michel. He's now 25 and he's the father of my grandson, who is my sunshine, my little grandson, James, who lights up my life. That's him on the right-hand side of the world. And why I share that with you is I want you to know that when you see successful people in this world, when you see authors that are successful, when you see entrepreneurs that are successful, you see experts, speakers, business owners that are successful, it's more than just what you're seeing. There's something else behind it. For me, my number one priority is my family, always will be my family. And yes, I followed my passion. Yes, I've created this empire. Yes, I've created success in my life, but nothing means more to me than my family, than my son, my grandson, and my husband. Absolutely. Now, where did I come from? I was raised in the house that you're looking at on the screen right now. Tiny, tiny little house. It was about 600 square feet, and my parents did not have any money. My father was a janitor, and my mother worked as a checkout clerk in a grocery store. They were not mentors. They did not blaze trails. I did not go to college. Why? Because I didn't have money. And I didn't even think it was important. As a matter of fact, I thought about going to college. I discussed it with my parents. They're like, what for? Anyways, I went to work and I'm glad I did. I have no regrets as far as that. But why do I share that with you? Because sometimes people look at people that have created success and they think, oh, it's easy for them. They had this and they had that. Well, I didn't. I didn't have that, but I had the desire. And I met Bob Proctor when I was 19 years of age. And he said these words that I'll never forget. He quoted Vernon Howard and he said, you cannot escape from a prison unless you know you're in one. So you see, you may be in a prison of your own right now. What's that prison? Well, the prison that I was in my own imagination. It was in my own mind. It was my own making. The prison was that I didn't believe that it was even possible for me to be successful. I really, truly, honestly believed that I was destined to struggle and to be poor for my life. I just felt that that was what I was supposed to do and be and experience. And that was the furthest thing from the truth. And Bob Proctor opened my eyes and my mind and my heart to new ideas that I decided to grab a hold of. And it changed my life in every way. And I implement his teachings because I've been studying him now for 40 years into everything that I do, because I know without that foundation of understanding what does it take to really be successful, you could have all the talent in the world, you could have all the money in the world, you could have all the backers in the world, but if you don't have it in your heart, if you don't have it in your belief system, you'll continue to struggle. It's just not going to work. But I was fascinated with the idea of helping people. I was fascinated with the idea of creating a business from the comfort of my own home. So I decided I'm going to self-publish my book and I'm going to bring it to the world and I'm going to print it and I'm going to sell it from my home. And so that's exactly what I did. But I had to learn how to effectively market online. And I was blessed to find a mentor who would teach me. And that's how I got into this. This is where it all started. I wrote the book, I self-published the book, and I learned very early in the game of becoming an author. If you've written a book, 5% of your job is done. And I know there are some people here that are on this call right now that have written books, and you're probably proud of your book and feel good about it, and very likely have improved your confidence because you've written that book. And congratulations to you. But the reality is, the truth is that that's 5% of your responsibility. You must learn how to market your book, and not just learn how to market your book thinking, oh, if I just go on social media, that's going to, Most people are just doing stuff that produces zero results. And I know because I've helped a lot of people who have been out there floundering and trying to learn things that do not produce the results. But I know they've got the desire. And if you have the desire, if you have that desire, that is a wonderful starting point to all riches. You see, I've generated multi-millions doing work that I really love. And as I said, I'm not bragging. Like, I put money, revenue right back into the business. I'm constantly working my business. I'm constantly expanding. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly traveling. I'm learning. I'm following other leaders, experts, because of the mission that I set for myself. What's that mission? To make a positive contribution to the lives of millions. I get up every day and think and ask myself this question: how will I serve? How will I serve? That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to serve you. That's my responsibility. I take it very, very seriously. I want to help you. I want to serve you so that you can live the life that you've wanted to do. So I've tried it all, but nothing beats becoming an international best-selling author, because you've decided, you got on with the work, you published your book, you launched your book by following a process. Now, one of my clients wrote a fabulous children's book, and she brought it to the world, and she happens to live in a country other than the one that I live. And she wrote a book called Mango Returns, and she made it a bestseller. And you can live anywhere in the world. You can publish your book for sale on sites like Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. You can use very simple online tools like CreateSpace. I mean, I teach all of this and how you can do it. You don't have to inventory books anymore. It used to be like that before. There's not a huge money investment. I'll talk about that as well. And you don't have to live in the United States, but you can sell in the United States. And you're paid direct to your bank account, or a check if that's the way you choose. That's the way it works. So you'll see that when you set it up and you have an account, that you'll see how many books you're selling, how much money you're earning. And then like for me, I get checks because I live in Canada and it's through Amazon. And so I get checks. I get these checks arriving in the mail. But if you're living in the United States, I believe you can have direct deposit right into your bank account. I could probably set up direct deposit into my bank account as well. But there is a step-by-step system. So imagine seeing that. Like every day you start seeing these daily sales, right? From books or programs or services, and it's all going in your bank account. Like the reality of that, imagine what that would be like. You know, I remember when my husband and I first met, and he asked me a question. We just started to date each other. And he asked me the question and he said, what happens when you're not making money? And I was really confused by that question. It was like, what in the world is he talking about? What happens when I'm not? I'm always making money. I'm a money-making machine. That's what my ex-husband used to call me. And anyways, the point is, what I want to get to is, what I show you what to do is create a habit of making money. A habit is a set of belief systems that cause you to operate in a certain way every day. It's almost like an autopilot process, right? I want to help you get into the habit of doing this. Now, the process, as I said, starts with a decision that you're doing this and you're doing it now. And you understand that you've got something, a passion, an idea, perhaps a book idea that you want to help, you want to share, and you want to help other people. Now, what's the importance of having your own book? It's the one secret that sets you apart from your competition. If you're looking to create a presence in the world, maybe you're looking at doing additional things like coaching, perhaps being a consultant, or being a trainer, speaker, setting up a business, entrepreneur business, doing masterminds, whatever it is, having a book can help separate you from others. It also can be the thing that helps you create a solid foundation for a wildly successful business. And it can help you open floodgates to financial wealth. And it can help you bond with your audience and allow you to contribute to people's lives deeply with worldwide impact. So where do you begin? Well, you begin by choosing a topic that you're passionate about. If you love it, it will change your life. So think about something. Let's look at my example. I wrote a book, my first book, called On Being the Creator of Your Destiny. Why did I choose that topic? Because I was studying that topic, because I love that topic, because I wanted to bring a message out to the world that I felt could help people. So it's simple, right? It's not any more complicated than that. You choose a topic that people will also want and need, and that there's a demand for, even if there is another book or tons of other books that are written on a similar or same topic. It doesn't matter, because what makes your book unique is you. You make your book unique. Now, you want to minimize your risk, and you absolutely want to maximize your reward. So if you love the topic and your audience loves the topic and you're ready to commit to getting it done, whether you're on a fast track or you're launching it in 60 days, or you want to take your time and spend 60 weeks, at the end of the day, you get to make a huge impact on many lives and quite possibly be well on your way to millions of dollars in revenue. Well on your way. Now, here's a story about a book that can indirectly skyrocket your results. So Glenn Shepard is a graduate of my program, and he wrote a book called How to Be the Employee Your Company Can't Live Without. And he said this, he said, after we realized the power of having a #1 bestseller, we raised the fee I charge for doing teleseminars, talking on the phone for 60 minutes, from $500 to $1,000. Because we're getting more requests than I could handle, we raised it to $2,500. So that's a 5 times increase. The first company said yes to that price, told my assistant it was because they wanted to publicize that the speaker has been a #1 bestseller. But the real money came from raising my fee for keynote speeches, which doubled from $5,000 to $10,000. He said the most bizarre part is that I booked more speeches at $10,000 in 3 years since I hit #1 on Barnes & Noble than I booked at half that price for the preceding 10 years combined. My book has been translated into 5 languages, and the positive effect continues to grow. Last year, I was offered my own reality TV show, which was the direct result of a TV producer picking up a copy of the book at a bookstore in London. And he lives in Tennessee. When people tell me that they want to write a book, I tell them not to bother unless they plan on making it a #1 bestseller. When they ask me how to do that, my answer is 2 simple words: Peggy McCall. Now, Glenn Shepherd, he followed my formula. He attended my program. He invested in himself. But he also told me that right after he became a #1 bestseller, he actually got a training contract for $75,000. And he said the reason why he got that contract is because the prospective client went to his site and saw that he was a #1 best-selling author. They were so impressed with that, they signed with him just like that, right away. Now, the best books are easily created with your authentic personality or your brand, fiction or nonfiction. It simply doesn't matter. I work with both. Now, your authentic personality or your brand, like your destiny switch, 8 proven secrets of smart success, be a dog with a bone, viral explosions. These are all my books that I share my story of success, my philosophies, my understandings, and they're done in a very unique way. In one book, Your Destiny Switch, I talk about the scale of human emotions and talk about the power and the nature of our emotions. Be a dog with a bone. I happen to love dogs. And so therefore, I wrote a book about persistence and how important persistence is. And so this is something that I want you to think about, is that your opportunity for you to create your own personal brand is based on connecting to that authentic personality that's within you, that people are going to get to know and get to love. I have a wonderful client by the name of Rodney Flowers. Actually, just heard from him yesterday. And Rodney wrote several books. He started with his first one called Get Up. I Can, I Will, I Did. And he made that an international bestseller. And when you look at the covers of Rodney's books, he's changed the cover to put right on the cover, international bestselling author. Now, Rodney is an extraordinary young man, extremely passionate. He had an accident when he was a teenager and he was playing football and he became paralyzed. And the doctors told him he would never walk again. And he said, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to get up. And even though he couldn't, he did. And that's what he wrote about. He is an extraordinary person who's really built a brand. He actually emailed me yesterday because he wants to interview me for a special event that he's doing coming up. He's now running his own events. He's created his own program. He's released multiple books. I mean, it's just incredible what he's doing. Leonie Priest is a lovely woman that I'm blessed to serve and work with. She had a desire to write some children's books and bring them out to the world. And she did just that. She got her books, Mango's New Home and Mango Returns. She wrote them. She had them produced, brought them out to the world, made herself an international bestseller. But the best books, they all have great profit potential. And the profit potential may come from the book. It may come from the understandings of the book. It may come from the knowledge that the author has. And it may come from something else that's within the author. Deborah Sky King is another lovely woman that I was blessed to work with. And I gave her an idea when I was working with her that allowed her to take the content or the ideas that were in her first book, and she launched a program that resulted in $113,927 in brand new revenue. And she used this one idea, she launched it, and she did that in very short order. So absolutely. Dr. Stacia Pierce, I remember when her assistant called me and she said that Dr. Pierce wanted you to help her. And I was like, wow, okay. I went to her website. I could see she had already written, written a 27 books. And so I was like, okay, how can I help you? And she told me that she wanted to increase her business. So as an author that was already doing well, had already released a number of books, but she wanted to impact her bottom line. I worked with her for a short period of time and she doubled her bottom line. Nancy Tillman, another self-published children's book author that I was blessed to serve and to work with, had written a beautiful book on the night you were born. I introduced her to my agent. My agent represented her. The first advance that she got for her was $250,000. She's actually received several advances since then and has now sold over 5 million copies of her book. Again, it's not typical results, but it's possible. Marie Forleo, a lot of people know who she is. She teaches this thing called the B School, and she wrote a book called How to Make Every Man Want You. She wanted to bring it out to the world and make it a big success. We worked together. She fell in love with internet marketing, started to launch her coaching business, started to create retreats for women, and now has a multi-million-dollar revenue producing business. She speaks at Tony Robbins events. Another great success. Jennifer McLean had a wonderful book. She's written a number of great books. Love this woman. She's just a beautiful heart, beautiful soul. Healing was her goal. But what she did was, after really learning about making money, like the online money making thing, she decided to implement something called Healing with the Masters. And she created a 7-figure revenue producing business by interviewing other people, right? It doesn't even have to be your knowledge that you can use. So you want to have the right amount of demand for your back-end products and services as well. That's what books can do for you. Carol Abramson, right? She generated $2 million by just giving away her book. Dr. Yusi, who I work with as well, wrote a book called Transforming Vibes. I met him. He said, I want to write my book and I want to create revenue. And I said, well, I can help you with that. And these are stats to show you that how he followed the teachings, he followed the understandings in a very short period of time. Within 3 months, as you're looking, these are his stats that he sent to me. Now, I do want to share with you is that these are examples only. I'm not promising that you're going to earn this amount of money. These are not guaranteed. It's only examples, right? But I want to impress upon you how anyone can do this. I know a question just came up. Keith is asking the question about, do some niches offer more potential than others? Are kids' books more lucrative than nonfiction? No, actually, not necessarily. I have some children's books authors that are earning truckloads more than what nonfiction authors are. But then on the other side of the equation, I've got lots of nonfiction authors that are earning millions and multi-millions. So I think, what's the difference? What's the difference? Because I think that's a really good question that Keith is asking. The difference is in the understanding and the application. That's the difference right there. Do you understand what it takes? Are you applying what it takes? That's the difference right there. Jason Fladlin said, I've already gotten business from the book just by showing it. I'm going to get a 6-figure contract. Now he's already earning money. He's showing rough draft to people. Now here's a guy who knows how to generate revenue. He's in an 8-figure revenue producing profitable business. He's a sharp guy, but he had never done his book. He wanted to do this book. He thought about it for 7 years. And now it's creating like phenomenal opportunity for him. So measuring demand is, see, you can use Amazon. And this really speaks to that question that was asked a little while ago, is how do you find out what's selling now? I think that is a great question. And we're going to talk about that. Now, Nick's asking the question, well, how much help would I get if I can't write? Well, Nick, you're in the right place at the right time, because I'm going to explain that in a minute. This is such a great question. So there's 32 categories online to pick from. And you can go there and you'll see, if you're thinking about writing a book, I suspect that the multiple categories that are there, your book's going to fall in either a category or a subcategory of what's being sold online. Now, if you're thinking about writing a book that's never been written before, and then, well, that's great, because you're going to make it unique. But if you're writing a book in a category that's never been written about, well, there might not be as much of an opportunity in that, right? So you got to really look. So in each category, Amazon publishes what's called bestseller ranking for every single book. And they explain all of this on Amazon. What are Amazon bestsellers? Well, Amazon bestsellers are calculated based on sales of a particular book and updated hourly. That's how they calculate. So can you actually put your book up on Amazon? Could you have a lot of sales occur in a matter of a couple hours? And because they're updating their sales rank every hour, you could become an Amazon bestseller? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I used Amazon to make my book a bestseller, became #2 in the world, right behind Harry Potter, but I also achieved the New York Times bestseller status. And if you want to know what are the most popular books based on, you'll probably be quite surprised when you start to see what people are buying. I mean, just look at the screen right now. Girls, wash your face. Stop believing the lies. Wow. I mean, could you imagine somebody goes up to someone and says, hey, I'm thinking about writing a book called Girls, Wash Your Face. What do you think of the title? I don't know. It's kind of funny. It seems a little odd, but you just don't know. It's not that it has to be obscure or different or completely unusual. It doesn't have to be there. But you know what makes a difference is in the marketing. That's what makes a difference. Yes, it's important to have a great name and a great title, etc. But if you want to know which ones are the top sellers, you can go to Amazon.com. You can pull up a book and just look under the product details. And that's where you're going to find the ranking of the books. What's number one? What's number two? And remember, I mentioned earlier that Amazon has subcategories of different categories or genres of books. So you can look for a book in the nonfiction category. And then you'll find, well, in nonfiction, they also have health, fitness, and dieting. They also have science and math. They have health, fitness, and dieting, alternative medicine, and then meditation, which is a subcategory of that. I mean, there's a lot of different categories in there. You get to pick the topic based on your passion, based on how you want to impact the world or help people or how you want to entertain people, and based on the type of income stream that you want to have in your life. And of course, you want to make sure that you create those objectives. What is it that you want? You want to get clear. You want to get clear on what your outcomes are based on what you're going to write and how much you would love to earn. Because as Jason Fladlin teaches, fuzzy targets don't get hit. So you got to be clear. What is it that you would love? What is it that you would love? Think about that. And I asked you earlier to really think about what you love. If you go, I want more money, I could give you a dime, 10 cents, and you'll have more money. Get clear. The universe loves it when you get specific. Now, I want to give you some examples of having your passion, your income, and your impact, right? So it could be natural health. That's a very popular topic. That could be your passion. It could be self-image. It could be something related to healing. It could be something that just helps you get to where you want to go. But then when you think about, okay, I want to live my life. I want to drive a nice car. I want to live in a nice home. I want to contribute to causes. I want you to really think about that. And then what's that lifestyle? There's a cost to that lifestyle. So if we look at leasing a Mercedes-Benz E-Class convertible as an example, it would be about $1,150 a month. Let's say you're looking to buy a beautiful home and you're looking at paying a mortgage, perhaps, property taxes, homeowner insurance, mortgage insurance, etc. You might be looking at somewhere around $6,000 a month. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because I want to talk to you about how can you take that dream and actually have it become a reality. Let's say you want to support Cynthia Kersey. I support the Unstoppable Foundation. And you want to invest in helping them build a new village every year. And that village is something that's $25,000 donation. It's going to help you to take care of 70 children and their families, education, clean water, nutrition, healthcare. And that costs about $2,000 a month. So desired income, we're looking at over $9,000 a month. Well, how could you do that? Well, let's say you sell a book or an ebook every month. Maybe you're even giving your books away. Here's an example where we're suggesting you give your book away. Give your book away. Leads people to a course. Let's say it's a $97 course and only 50 people invest in that. That's $4,850. Let's say you sell a top-end coaching program. Well, not a top end. This would be a more lower end coaching program at $997. That would be $9,970. Total, $14,820. Left over, $5,397. Pay the tax man. That's one very simple example. Could you do that again? Absolutely. Could you double those numbers, triple those numbers? Absolutely. Could you create another level? Could you end up having a program that's $10,000? Absolutely. You see, your book could become a gateway to multiple sources of income. Or you could create a course that could become your book and you create the income in advance. Now, the thing to remember is that most people are underestimating just how big this opportunity is and how many incredible doors that it can open. In the income stream example, We didn't sell any books. We're giving them away. But we did sell 60 units within 30 days of an other online product that costs next to nothing to create because it was all done online. So there's no hard cost. That's another beautiful benefit of marketing and offering your things online, is that it doesn't have to cost you. I sit here in my office and I record content with my laptop, with my iPhone headphones on that came with my phone. My laptop I already had, my iPhone speaker or headphone I already had. I can use free software that's available and create from there. Remember Dr. Yusi? He had earned 460,000 euros in the first 3 months. Now, would you agree that there are many, many topics to pick from that you can base your book or topic on? And that you don't even have to earn money from your book itself to be wildly profitable or gain huge credibility and help other people. Also, although you can think of many back-end offers to multiply your income and impact, it only takes 1 or 2 to meet or exceed your expectations. The upside is extraordinary, and all of this can be done relatively quickly when you know how. Now, let's look at the process again. We talked about decision, the power of making a decision. Now let's look at the writing process. How do you write? Writing isn't the only way to get your book done. What if you suck at writing like I do? Well, it's not the only way to get your book done. You could actually teach content. You could teach a course, have it transcribed. I've done that. You could pull content together from blogs and articles and have someone else edit it. One of the questions was asked about that. You can actually hire someone else to write your book and outsource that job. Or you could just sit there with a recorder and record the content and have it transcribed. Now, I particularly love option number 2 and option number 5. Why? Because they're incredibly easy. It's like the question that Nick asked earlier. You don't even have to write. You don't even have to lift a pen. You can do this. Now, I want to give you a very short sneak peek. Now, get ready because I want you to be taking some notes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a recording that's inside my exclusive online author training. Now, the value of the training is well over $15,000, but I'm going to show you a short segment for free. And it's all about simply speaking into your computer microphone and talking in order to get your book written, which is a way to write that is as easy as having a conversation with your best friend. I'm also going to cover the topic of teaching as a way to get your book written, which actually has you get paid to write your book. So you ready? All right, here we go. This right now. So let's look at the ways that you can write a book. You simply sit down and you write the book, which we've talked about. Or you could record content. If you're someone who loves to speak, this could be a good way to go, and I'll cover that in a moment. Or you could teach content, record the classes, and then have them transcribed, and that can become content for your book. Or if you've written articles or blogs or podcasts or whatever, and you want to take that content and repurpose it, that could become really good content for your book. Or you hire a ghostwriter. So let's look at the additional ones: record, teach, repurpose, and ghost write your book. If you're going to record content for your book, you're somebody who loves to speak, not a big fan of writing, but you decide that's the way you want to go. So you start with a theme, you create your detailed outline, you ensure your outline is complete before you start recording, and then you simply, instead of starting to write, you start to record. And you can record on your computer. Like I could easily turn on QuickTime Player right now and do File, New, and hit record. All right, easy peasy peasy. Or if you want, you could just do little short segments of recording. Like if you have voice memo on your phone device, if you have iPhone, Android, or whatever, they all have these voice memos, and you can just hit record and start recording, and just do short segments at a time. Just save them, save the files because you don't want to lose them, and then listen to them before you have them transcribed. And then have them transcribed. If you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, re-record it. And I have resources for transcription services as well. All right, so I have resources for that as well. Pretty simple, isn't it? Now, this may be a way that you decide you really want to write. It might be a very effective way for you. So recording options. If you have an Apple, you have GarageBand. Usually Mac products have GarageBand. If you have Windows, there's something called Sound Recorder you could use, or you could go online and you could search for something called Audacity. Audacity is a free downloadable software that you can put on your computer. It's easy peasy peasy to use. They have both a Windows version and a Mac version, and I've used Audacity on many occasions, and I simply self-taught. So what did I do? I went to the site, I think it's SourceForge is the company that created Audacity. I downloaded the software, and then I opened it up and I hit record. And when you're done, you save as an MP3 file. That's it. Easy peasy peasy. Or a QuickTime Player, as I mentioned on my Mac, I have QuickTime Player, and I could easily go to my applications folder, click on QuickTime Player, open it up, file new audio recording, and hit record. That's it, right? Boom, easy peasy. That's what you would do. Now, you could also, there's software programs that allow you to speak into your computer, and as you're speaking, it actually transcribes the words that you're saying. There's a software that's very popular, it's been around for a long time, called Dragon, D-R-A-G-O-N. It's a speech recognition software. And the speech recognition software actually gets to know your voice. So if you're someone that has an accent, or you're someone that, I don't know, speaks a little differently for whatever reason, then Dragon gets to know your voice. It actually learns your voice, and you work with it in the beginning, you practice with it in the beginning, and then it becomes very, very effective. Or you could hire a transcription service. And the Perfect Transcript is the name of a transcription service that I've used. But transcription services are easily available. You don't have to go anywhere. It can all be done online. All right, so capturing audio, I find, is extremely effective for those that love to talk, or for those that find it easy to share their message verbally by speaking it, or for those who want a very easy way of creating their book, or for those that just don't like writing or typing. All right, so that's what audio, like creating audio, can be very effective for. Now, an interview process, if you're interested in interviewing people and you're looking to include other people's stories and other people's examples, and you want to interview people, you could actually create the outline for your book, and then you could write out questions that will draw out the content of your book, and you could ask someone to interview you, or you can interview yourself by answering the questions, or you could interview others, and you record it, and then you have it transcribed. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you're thinking about writing a book, and you're wondering, the reader would be wondering, well, who is she or he, and why have they written the book? What's in it for me? How can I get the most out of this book? What do I need to do? Is there anything I need to do? Well, help me understand this process more effectively. Things like that, right? You can actually sit down and write out a whole series of questions, and those questions can draw out content. Another very effective way. And I've just given you an example of a half a dozen questions that you can use. And you can tailor or design questions for each of the sections. So that may be a way that you want to outline the book for you as well, by simply listing the chapter titles and maybe some bullet points with some questions as well that can draw out answers. Because you'll find that when you become a very successful author, which I'm certain that's what you're going for, and you get interviewed, you'll find that a lot of the interview questions are very similar. Like, why did you write this book in the first place? And what makes your book unique? Or what is that process all about? Or has this happened to you in the past? Or has it happened to anyone else? Are you familiar with other stories? Do you have another example? Do you know of an experience when? Like that kind of thing. So you just think. Right? As you've heard me say before, thinking is a very important part of the process of creating, especially in the writing process. So Dr. Stephen Hurd is a wonderful friend, client of mine. He became a client of mine a number of years ago, and he wanted to write a book on his own experience, how he became addicted to certain things and how he went to hell and back. And his book is called To Hell and Back, A Surgeon's Story of Addiction, 12 Prescriptions for Awareness. All right, cool idea. So when I met Dr. Stephen Hurd, he may be a wonderful doctor, medical doctor. He may be a wonderful surgeon, but not a wonderful writer. So he hired me to work with him privately. He actually came to Ottawa, to my home, and we worked on his book. How do we work on his book? I helped him create the outline, and then we did just what I'm teaching you here. We created that outline first, and then I interviewed him. And we recorded everything. And then we had it transcribed. And then we had someone work with the transcriptions to create the content for his book. That's how we created the book. So Stephen didn't have to write anything. He didn't have to write anything, but all of that knowledge for his book, To Hell and Back, all of the experience, all of the stories, all of the ideas for prescriptions for awareness was all within him. And I drew it out of him in order to create this phenomenal product called To Hell and Back. It's a great book as well. I recommend that book if you want to check it out. Now you can mix it up. As you're hearing these different methods of creating and writing your book and you're feeling drawn to one or more of these ideas, you could certainly use, write some of it. You could record some of it. You could pull articles for some of it. Whatever works for you is going to work for me. All right. So mix it up, meaning try the different processes if you want. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. And use a couple of them if you decide. Now, teaching to create content for your book. I love this methodology. And I've done this a number of times as well. I've done this with a couple of my books, few of my books actually. That's what Brian and I did with Darn Easy. So how does that cover that? Well, you create a program that covers all the material of the content, and then you ensure that you have lots of variety. And you start with a central theme of the program. You create the outline. You create your own teaching materials, either using PowerPoint or some kind of a workbook if you want. You could design student materials, workbooks, downloads, videos, audio, support materials. And then you're going to find more of this. Oh, it says you're going to find more of this in the 21-day revenue. Actually, you're going to find more of this in the Get Your Program Done program, all right? Not 21-day revenue, and Get Your Program Done program. Actually, I'm going to correct that right now in the Get Your Program Done, which you have access to. Woohoo! All right, great. So there we go. And then you record all the content of everything that you're teaching. You transcribe those materials, and then you have a book. Now, there's going to be some time investment required in order for you to create this program. And you'll see all of that and Get Your Program Done. Like, you got to sit down, you got to create an outline for your program, then you got to create the content for your program. And if you think about it, what are you learning in the Committed Author program? It's a program. Could I take all of this content and could I have all of this content transcribed and have this become a book? Absolutely. If I wanted to, I certainly could do that because it is all being recorded. I'm recording it as we're going through this right now. And I could easily take all the content for this. And as you're seeing, I've created lots of PowerPoint slides. Hundreds and hundreds of PowerPoint slides. Now that took a long time to create, all right, but definitely worthwhile because now I have a program that I'm delivering. Now I have an effective way of teaching. Now I have a way of helping people create their books as well. All right, so the advantages, tremendous advantages to teaching the content. You get to generate revenue. I think that's one of the best benefits of it. You also can get feedback from your students if you want as you're going through it. If you're having open Q&A calls, you can ask your students to ask you any questions that they have, and that will allow you to really pay attention to whether you're missing something or whether you haven't explained something in a way that your students are going to really understand. And it allows you to really get into the content and the materials. And you're basically, if you're selling this program, it's like getting paid to write your book. Pretty cool, isn't it? Absolutely. All right, so after you teach, you go through all the transcriptions and you organize your materials into chapters that follow the same outline that we've talked about here. And you ensure that there's great flow and great formatting, and you can revise the content if you wish. You can add more, you can eliminate some, and then you review the content, and then you've got a great manuscript that can go over to an editor, and then they can work with your content after that to complete it and make it into a book. So 8 Proven Secrets to Smart Success was a course that I created many years ago. I delivered it on the internet. I took the transcripts from every one of those classes, I put it into a book format, and I released the book. It was so easy to do. Darn easy. Same thing. Brian Proctor and I decided we're going to do a book together. All right, great. Well, what are you going to talk about? We're going to talk about how to work half as hard, earn twice as much while living the life of your dreams. We created a course. We delivered it online. We sold it. And then we took the content of that course, and that became the basis for the book, Darn Easy. Same thing with a book that I created called The Millionaire Author. That's no longer available. I can give you a copy if you want a copy of that, but that was a book, the same thing. I've been teaching a course and had it transcribed, and that's how that became a book. All right. There we go. All right. So how do you write? Once your content is written and ready, you could have a cover created. You could actually do it even before the book's done, and you can get those done for like $100 on a place called killercovers.com, or you could have someone edit it. You could go to Upwork and find an editor, but I have these resources as well. Those are resources that I give to my clients, and then boom, your book is done. But the process is decide, you write, and then you publish. So is it better to self-publish via something like CreateSpace or a vanity publisher like Hasmark Publishing? Or is it better to seek a traditional publisher such as HarperCollins, Macmillan, Penguin, Random House, or Simon & Schuster? Well, self-publishing benefits are instant. What I mean by that is you can actually get your book written and get it published in a very short period of time. It's not like that in the publishing world. Plus, in the publishing world, you're going to earn a lot less money because you still have to do the marketing. Publishers do not do the marketing. Plus, another benefit is you can actually get your book done, and you can do it for very little expense, and you have full control. But traditional publishers, there are benefits. You can sometimes get in advance, but I'll share with you only when advances are given. They're usually given when people have huge followings. Millions and millions of subscribers. They're speaking on main stages all over the world. They've got a big, big following, or they've got some kind of big name recognition or some kind of wider distribution. Why is that attractive to a traditional publisher? It's attractive to a traditional publisher because they believe that person, that author, is going to help sell books. But there's very little control on that. You're going to earn a lot less money. And the big shocking secret is, this is something a lot of people really don't understand, is that traditional publishers do not do the marketing. They do not. And getting them is an incredible challenge. Now, would you rather have more money, more control, more speed, or less money, less control, less speed? Now, I think I know the answer to that question. It's kind of like a rhetorical question. I don't even think I need to ask you. But I am here to help you. I'm here to hold your hand. Now, what would your results like that be worth? What would it be worth to you? Now, I want to show you another example. Let's just use a simple example. Let's say you take 21 days, you write your book, and that's very, very doable. I wrote one of my books in a day. Let's say you take 60 days to publish it, and it doesn't even have to take that long. But let's say you decide that you're going to make it a bestseller and you launch your campaign, you get that done within 65 days. And you sell 2,500 books. You sell at $9.99. Perhaps you follow a model that I teach of creating a back-end program or an offering, something simple, low end at $97. Maybe you create that coaching program I talked about as well. Again, a low end, relatively low end at $997. Total revenue within a 90-day period, potentially just under $100,000. Now, is that possible? Absolutely. Have I done this? Absolutely, multiple times. And I've done it in less time than that. Not to mention the credibility you gain, the expert status that you gain, the lives that you're impacted, and the personal growth that you personally experience. All right, so listen, I'm not oversimplifying things when I say that just adding best-selling author to your resume can help change your entire life for the better, so you can enjoy experiences like these, like having that Mercedes in the home and donating to a cause that means something to you. But just think about it. If you're not an author, what kind of recognition as a world leader are you going to have? Well, little to none. But as an author, one of a kind. Your ability to reach millions of people, little to none. If you're not an author, you're not doing any of this. And the ability to reach people, millions of people, that ability, it's automatic. And as you saw, billions of people. Your income severely limited. But you got that income. You can really write, think about this, writing a blank check, but not just writing a blank check, but cashing it, right? 6, 7, 8 figures. Now, where in the world would J.K. Rowling be without her books, or Robert Kiyosaki? Now, J.K. Rowling is the first billionaire author in the world. Robert Kiyosaki built an entire empire around his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What did he build? A model. What do I teach? Models. Models for success. Think about Dr. Seuss. Where would Dr. Seuss be without his books? Where would Wayne Dyer have been without his books? He sold 40 or wrote 40 books. 21 of them became New York Times bestsellers. He was a client of mine. Where would they have been? Bob Proctor wrote the book, You Were Born Rich, sold it. He said he's got millions of copies all over the world, but gave it away as well. Think about Napoleon Hill. He was given the opportunity by Andrew Carnegie. Are you willing to dedicate your life to study success and how people became successful, where there's no guarantee you'll be compensated in any way? And what did he say? Yes. And I think he was glad that he did, because that book has sold over 100 million copies of Think and Grow Rich. Now, Bob Proctor says his book, the Born Rich book, has done more for his business than any other thing. He said that. He wrote that in a testimonial for me, and he said it on stage whenever he's introducing me. So think about that. The great leaders are doing it. Eileen McDonald, a wonderful fiction author that I'm very blessed to work with, she said, I finally gave my book a title and got the .com, dreams coming true. Let's do this. All right. Like there's energy that occurs when you make the decision you're going to do this. Jenna, who's in my author program, she says, on a whim, I decided to join any private Facebook group for TMJ disorder and share my author page. I'm overwhelmed by the need for my book. Now, there's a unique one. Earlier, we were talking about on the chat screen, someone had asked about unique categories. Keith had asked the question about a unique category for his book. And that's what Jenna, she was like, not sure, would anyone want my book? And she said, people are reaching out to me, letting me know how much they're looking forward to it. I just want to say how beautiful it is that Peggy McCall is helping us to help others. There's no telling how many people's lives she has impacted vicariously through the authors she has developed with her programs and mentoring. I've been moved to tears by some people in just the last few minutes. Now, are you getting excited? I want to ask you this question. Are you getting excited about this opportunity? And we haven't even covered the best part yet, the launch part. That's what we're going to talk about now. This is where the real money and the real impact is made. Now, the good news is there's a lot of proven ways to quickly launch your book as a bestseller. One is with your own email list if you have one. And if not, I've got 20 ideas for how you can do that. I actually decided to launch the Millionaire Author and use it as a lead generator. Onyx Singal was running an event in Vegas, and he said, Peggy, I want you to come and I want you to speak not only about how to get a book done and how to be successful as an author, but also how can you use a book as a lead generator? How can it help you in your business? How can it be part of a funnel system that can help you generate more revenue? So I went there and I spoke on that. And just before I went, I created this book called The Millionaire Author, and I used that as a lead generator. And when I had done that, I thought, maybe I'll make it a bestseller. Within hours of publishing that book, I made it a bestseller. So you don't have to have an email list. If you don't have one, that's okay. It's not a problem. You could also use Facebook or social media. I know people that are generating multi-millions of dollars by doing Facebook and social media ads. Now, this book, Mango Returns, which is Leonie Priest's book, she actually made it a bestseller within 12 days of running some ads. You could also do pre-sales. You could pre-sell the book before it's even out. I had another client, Connie Ramsey, and that's what she did using Facebook ads. Or you could partner with other authors that you meet through my programs or suggestions and things like that. And that's what a lot of people do, is they partner up with other people they're connecting with. And as you know, we've got hundreds of millions of people online on social media, and you're just a click away. And I explain all of that. It's all yours, and you can sell it if you want. Now, Mick Peterson, he is an extraordinary example, fiction book. And there was an example on the Q&A a little bit earlier about an author or a gentleman who's on the call, or woman, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, who's thinking about doing a book. And I noticed Trace had replied, said, your book could become a movie. That's what happened in Mick. He sold the rights to his book. He got a publishing deal and sold the rights. They're looking at making this a franchise that their vision is will be bigger than Harry Potter. Elle Newmark, she self-published her book, brought it to the world, learned from me how to market her book effectively. Remember earlier I said 95% of an author's responsibility is the marketing. She learned how to do that. She received a $2.4 million deal from Simon & Schuster, plus a $75,000 deal the day she launched this from a foreign rights publisher as well, a 7-figure book deal. Now, isn't it time you cash in on what can only be described as the single greatest opportunity in the digital age today to create your own fortune and have you leave a legacy, especially since the way it involves simply knowing people and sharing your knowledge? Heck yeah. Now, why is it? Why is it that some people are completely missing out? They've got their heads stuck in the sand. Why is that? Well, could be because they just don't know. Ignorance, right? And ignorance is certainly not bliss. And struggling, I see it all the time. And, quite often I'll get people come to me after they've been through the struggle or they're going in the struggle and they don't want that anymore. So if we think about what this opportunity is and how it just keeps getting bigger and bigger every single day and every single year, as I shared, and people are reading books, they say that 74% of adults read books. I mean, books are popular. They're not going anywhere. And anyone and anywhere in the world can create a book. Pizze lives in New Zealand. She's from Cambodia. English wasn't her first language, but she made her book an international bestseller. But with the book, there's a number of unlimited opportunities. That sounds like an oxymoron. There are unlimited opportunities for you to educate and entertain millions of people within dozens of categories, hundreds of subcategories with a relatively small amount of time invested. So can you make big money and make a big difference? Heck yeah. Remember those 32 categories, main categories, all of which have subcategories? Remember what I shared with you about the possibility of earning revenue within 90 days, little as 90 days, not guaranteed. It's possible, but definitely not guaranteed. But the best of all is that you've seen firsthand just how a small portion of the people I've worked with that have achieved amazing results just following my process. And these are people that had no experience whatsoever. They came from, incredible challenges to create phenomenal success. I mean, look at Susanna, who decided to write her book in a week. Look at what Carol did by just printing 200 copies. Look what Pizze Ling did. Look at how Jennifer Colford got a desire to write a book, wrote it, launched it, self-published it, made it a bestseller within 60 days. And you don't have to be a certain age or color or race or religion. You can be anywhere. 5-year-old Destin Gregory, Mick Peterson wrote his fiction book, Jason Fladlin, Elle Newmark. And then we have Rodney Flowers. And we've got our children's book authors as well, Nancy Tillman, Leonie Priest, Jennifer McLean, Deborah Skye, so many people. Then we've got Dr. Stacia Pierce, and we have Dr. UC, and we have Connie Ramsey. And let's not forget the superstars with a combination of luck, timing, heart, skill have broken through the next and the highest levels. These are some of my clients. I've worked with them all. All of these people I've been blessed to serve. But now it's your turn, because you have the opportunity just like all of these people. You're just as smart, just as capable, and you absolutely deserve it. However, there's some concerns, and I want to talk about those concerns. Let's get them covered right now. Now, let's just take a few minutes talking about them. Now, should I share this with anyone at any price or keep it all to myself? Well, I think it's natural. The approach, the tools, the trade secrets, the resources the community have developed to show these authors how to thrive is not available to anyone. As you can imagine, when you have something this powerful, it doesn't come without a significant investment. Now, I make no qualms about that, because we can agree. It's not what it costs you. It's what it costs you not to do it. It's also what it can give you in exchange for your investment, right? The time's going to pass anyways. If I had a crystal ball that showed you your future 6 months from now, and you were $100,000 richer than you are today, helping thousands of people, would you invest $10,000 with me to get there? Absolutely. This isn't that the money, because I can literally guarantee that you can profit when you say yes to what I have available for you today. Now, what is it then? Well, it isn't about the money. What is it then? Well, it's really about belief. It's a belief. Well, you don't believe me? It sounds too good to be true? You think the testimonials aren't true? They're made up? They're fake? Do you think that this is for someone else, or that it's something more? You don't believe in yourself, maybe? They could have done it, but it's not you. Can you do it? Maybe that's part of it. Well, I believe you can. And I'm going to put my own reputation on the line to prove it. I know you can. Why? Because I've helped many people do it, and I've done it myself. So even if it is your first time, your first experience, and you're looking to have that freedom, maybe that's what you're looking for, freedom. So I'm going to ask you, like I did in 1 month in October 2001, that's when I wrote my very first book that changed my life forever. Absolutely changed my life. In 1979, the company made me go and see a motivational speaker, give a presentation to our company. That was Bob Proctor. That changed my mindset forever. It changed everything about who I am. When he quoted Vernon Howard and he said, you can't escape from a prison unless you know you're in one. I was in one. But prior to this day, I was pretty miserable. I mean, prior to that day, I was miserable. I was stuck and I was only focused on myself. And I made myself a deal. I decided that even though I was in this hole, I was going to dig myself out of it. I realized that I had to invest in myself. And I'm going to tell you something. That was the best investment I've ever made. Because when we look at fast forward, 13 books, 37 languages, 82 countries, all these books been on the New York Times bestseller list, that my books are in bookstores. I've been on national TV. I've created an empire, and people like you noticed my success and started to ask for help. And I responded. Even celebrities were saying, how can I help? How can you help me? So after the past 20 years, I've dedicated my life. This is my purpose. This is why I'm here. I want to help you. I want to help you get to where you want to go. But I know you can't do it all on your own. But you do have to follow a system, a proven system, step by step. Now, I've created something that can help you. I've created a program. It's a training program and an intimate worldwide community of authors that are committed to their success as well as that of others. I built it from the ground up. The best foundational course for creating books and achieving bestseller status right away, and the way that guarantees that you'll make money and a difference when you follow the steps. So let's get the investment out of the way. This brand new program that I have, the Committed Author, is $4,997. It can be spread out over installments. Now, I get it. You might have to move mountains to come up with this, but I'll tell you, it's worth it. Do it, because I can virtually guarantee you can create the results you imagined for yourself when you follow what I teach. Now, my client Leonie missed the opportunity the first several times my online class came along her way. She actually was anxious, but she decided she received an email and she saw the subject line that said last chance. She actually took out a loan and went for it. And thank God she did, because now she has 2 bestsellers. She's on her way to creating her own program. She's looking at creating an empire. She's created a $100 million business plan. And she's been following my guidance, and she did it in a matter of time. Now, I'll tell you, 401ks don't make you rich. Saving accounts don't make you rich. Playing small doesn't make you rich. And best of all, or worst of all, none of it will help you help anyone. So you can get yourself registered right now. All you need to do is, when you do, you're going to get the greatest single advantage available to authors when you sign up through this special page. It's called the Committed Author. Now, you may have already written your book, but this is for you as well. And if you haven't, I'm going to walk you through that as well. And if you have written your first book, you're going to find out how to make your next book even better. So not only about how to make your book a bestseller, but how do you become that worldwide expert? How do you create multiple streams of income? How do you hit those targets that aren't fuzzy? Because every moment of your life, you can be making a difference. And if you're feeling that desire, check out the link right there, thecommittedauthor.com/now. The reason why we have the word now there is because we're giving you guys a special deal. You've shown up. And by showing up, there are rewards, all right? So you can get the complete program. We got it ready for you. We're ready to rock and roll. There are 11 modules plus a number of additional bonuses. So we're going to show you how to be creative. Now, as I said, if you've written your book already, this is for you. If you haven't written your book already, this is for you. If you're thinking about writing a book, this is for you, because I'm going to talk to you about how you can make your message in your book something that people are going to love, what you really need to know before you even start, and how a title alone can actually create success for you. Module 2, we get into the step-by-steps on writing the book and creating the outline and chapter titles and doing research and doing timelines and all of that to create success in a very short period of time. And then how do you get that content written? Multiple ways. You saw a short segment of that today. What's the writing process? How do you actually do this? What if I suck at writing like you, Peggy? Right? Well, I walk through all of that. Then I show you how to finish it. How do you actually get the cover done? And you could actually do that a little bit before. I do talk about it before then. How do you write fiction? 2, how do you get endorsements from big names that are going to build your credibility? And then how do you publish or sub-publishing? There's both options that are available. I'll talk to you about the pros and the cons and give you direction for doing either one of those. And then we get into branding, website. Like I see people putting up websites all the time that are a total and utter waste of money, waste of time, and just waste of effort. But I want to show you how you can set up a website that's going to position you to generate income, to be successful. And then how do you create those raving fans and followers so that you can create momentum and attract your ideal audience? How can you promote in the media as well? And then we go into the step-by-step process. How do you make that book a bestseller? That's an important one. I'm going to show you the launch strategies. I'll show you what I've done. I'll show you samples from my own campaigns, give you the guidance, give you the steps, show you the way. And then I show you how to create marketing funnels to catapult your book and business success, the core bestseller marketing strategy, the funnel process, upsells, technology made easy. Remember, I'm technologically challenged. And of course, the New York Times bestseller. Many of you have said that's what you're looking to create. And if so, I'm going to show you how to do it. I've done it many, many times. What are the details? How do you do it? Might be a lot easier than what you think. It's going to take some effort, but I'll show you the way. And then module 11, how do you generate revenue by the millions? How can you convert book buyers into 6, 7, 8-figure income streams? How do you continue to promote? How do you really create that presence in the world that has you living that life? And then every week, we're going to do Q&A calls. Starting in a very short period of time, we're going to do Q&A calls every week. You have access to me. And that way you get your questions answered. All right, Facebook Live, you get to connect and network with other authors that are in the program. That's where a lot of my clients have actually made their books bestsellers. That's how they built their followings, is through connecting and networking with the other people that are in the private Facebook group. You get to be a part of that. Also walk through, how do you get on radio, TV? What happens when you get booked into national publicity? What kind of publicity you're looking for? How do you prepare yourself? That's another bonus that we've included for you. And then this is the mother of all bonuses, the book launch template. We're using something called ClickFunnels, and we're actually going to show you how you can have this. We're going to give you a one-click book launch funnel template. So it's like plug and play. That's a term you've probably heard. It's a matter of plug and play. And we're, for the first time ever, we're including it with the Committed Author Program. That's a huge bonus right there. And when we're talking about huge mother of bonuses, this is probably the biggest one of them all. And that is a full-blown program on how to get your program done and then how to get your program launched. This we dive into, and this is maybe even where you want to start, because this is the revenue generating side of things. This is like my programs. I've been teaching for 40 years. Actually, I was a teacher when I met Bob, and I was teaching for a technology company, not technical stuff. I was teaching how to use word processors way back when. And then I started teaching how to use software programs on computers. And so I've been a teacher for a long time. I've created my own programs. I've taught other programs. So I know what I'm doing with programs. I'm going to show you just how easy it is, and I'll walk you through the steps. Now, Trace Haskins, who's my business partner and my vice president of marketing, he is a master at marketing and launching. And he's done that for many, many years. He's been involved in internet marketing since he was a teenager, and he really knows his stuff. And he delivers an 8-webinar program that's called How to Get Your Program Launched. And we include it in the Committed Author. So we've decided that we want to set you up for success. And so we're doing just that. That's what the Committed Author program is. Now, the value is off the charts. We're looking at monthly or weekly Q&A calls, private Facebook group, publicity secrets, plus the 11 modules, the funnel template, the click funnel templates included now. Get your program done, get your program launched. The value is over $15K, but it would be a great deal at half that price for sure. And we're offering it at $4,997. But for you, if you're on here, right now, this is absolutely a limited time offer. We're doing this because we want to inspire you to make a wise decision to make an investment in yourself. And yes, there's a payment plan available if that's what you prefer. You can go with the payment plan so you can get started. You can get into it right away, and you will get started right away. Now, the special reward for the people that take action right here, right now, is I'm doing a live event, a 2-day event right here in my beautiful city of Ottawa. And it's called the Prosperous Author Live. It's limited seats, so we can give you full attention. I'm going to teach you how to create revenue. It's the money earning side of being an author at this live event. You get to come for free. I'm giving you a ticket when you register for the Committed Author. So now I want to see how serious you are about this and what I can do for you. So let's go all the way together. I am so confident, absolutely confident. I'm certain because I know from my own track record and from my clients' track record, and I have special resources available through the link below. But you've got to take action. I'm going to guarantee it's impossible to legally or ethically guarantee a particular result, but I guarantee you're going to love this program when you follow it, when you actually apply what I'm teaching you, because you're going to grow and you're definitely going to win as a result. So get yourself registered. You get the full Committed Author program. You get all the bonuses. You get my personal back guarantee that you're going to love it. And you also get access to my incredible private exclusive author community, which is where I see you and what it takes. You're going to learn what it takes to become a bestseller and really kickstart your business. So when we look at this, the class investment, you might look at, I want to also talk about this because if you're looking at getting a cover done, like I've had covers done for $100. I've actually designed some covers myself. So $1,250 is probably a little high on that, but writing, editing, and cover would probably be a little more appropriate. The self-publishing doesn't have to cost a lot of money. I walk you through the steps on that and how to do it anywhere from nothing to $5,000. And launching, if you can do it on your own, you follow what I'm teaching. We're not looking at a big, big expense here. However, if we look at those that deserve the wealth, find a way to make it happen because there are challenges, but you're committed. I'm committed to your success. Now, the key ingredient that you need is the desire. It's for you to make a decision, for you to decide, I'm going to join the Committed Author program. You know, I've decided, now we called it the Committed Author because we're committed to your success. And we know that when you make a decision, you're going to make a decision. How do you register? You go to thecommittedauthor.com, but put in the /now. All right, put in a /now. Why? Because you're going to get the special price that we're offering right now. All right, so I know Victoria's ready to go. Victoria, go to thecommittedauthor.com /now. Get yourself registered. All right, so time. How much time do you have? It's not what you do with the time that matters. It's how little it may seem. So look at Dr. UC. In just 3 months, he took his income to over 460,000 euros. Look at what these authors did. Deborah Skye, Nancy Tillman, Dr. Stacia Pierce already had a successful business. She took one idea and generated $113,000. Nancy Tillman has sold over 5 million books. Just imagine she's earning only $1 a book. Whoa, what in the world is that, right? So it's absolutely worth it. Now you might still be thinking, I hope you're not, you may be thinking I'm not a good writer. Well, I wasn't. You might be thinking English isn't your first language. It doesn't have to be. I've worked with many people who English isn't their first language. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't live in the United States. Not necessary. I live in Canada. I'm honestly a little bit scared and skeptical. It's okay. I understand that, but just look at the results of others. Now, people are pretty good at two things. They're good at making money or making excuses. You can't be good at both. Remember earlier I said that when I met my husband, Denny, and he asked me, says, well, what happens when you're not making money? Well, I'm good at making money. Why? Because I learned how to become good at making money. I'm going to help you learn how to be good at making money. So imagine, what's your life going to be like when you're a bestseller, money-earning author? You write your book, others are enjoying it, your millions of people are being impacted, and you have millions of dollars in the bank. Imagine that. Bob Proctor often quotes this. He says, when John F. Kennedy asked Werner von Braun what it would take to put a man on the moon by the end of the century, von Braun answered simply with 5 words: the will to do it. Well, the good news is creating a bestseller is way easier than putting a man on the moon, right? You see, I saw it in my mind and then I held it in my hand. I decided I was going to make my book a bestseller, and I did just that. But it does start with making a committed decision. And many of you have said that already, that your intention is to be a successful author. My intention is to help you get there, and to get there right now. So now's the time. Now's the time for you to invest in yourself. You just simply go to thecommittedauthor.com/now. And as soon as you do, and as soon as your registration is complete, and it's not 15,000, it's less than that, right? We've got a special offer for you now, just under 4K. You can get yourself registered right now. It's a fraction of that. And just think of the upside. Think of how this is going to change your life. I'm committed to your success. I see you committed to your success. Let's get started. Let's get going right now. I'm ready for you. We're ready to serve you. We're ready to guide you, hold your hand, and see you succeed, and have this be an off-the-charts experience. Now, this is a limited time offer. We're very serious about that. I don't want you to come back to the page days later and it's going to say expired, and then you're going to be ticked off. Don't want that to happen. I want you to make a commitment now. You may be feeling a little scared. That's okay. Feel the fear. Go for it anyway. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to be glad you did. So go to thecommittedauthor.com/now and get yourself registered, and I'll see you in the program. All right. My pleasure to be with you today, to serve you. I loved all the comments. I see it. I know there's going to be a number of folks that are going to be joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the program, working with you. And I look forward to hearing about your success so that I can share it with my audience in the future. All right. That's it for now. Get in there. Get into the committedauthorprogram.com/now. Get yourself registered.